Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm pleased again, this is Rudy Page, to return back to our Africa Day dialogues. And we're now in Ghana, and it's great to be in Ghana. And we're going to have an interesting dialogue with the Marcus Garvey Foundation and the Ghana, the Ghana Association. So remind me, Neville.
The Ghana Caribbean Association.
That's it. The Ghana Caribbean Association. I'm going to get a sack today for the amount of mistakes. But anyway, I keep going. I always tell people, keep going, keep going. Right. So great to see you all, and look forward to the dialogue. And Dr. Laura from Atlanta. So I'm going to start with Dee Burrows. How are you?
I'm very well, Rudy. How are you?
Excellent. All is well. And thank you very much for really making this session happen today with your connecting style and making connections work. That's what you're doing.
Absolutely. Love what I do.
So Dee, just before we move on, just tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. How long do you have? 2 days?
Yeah.
I'll be brief as possible. First, I'll say happy Africa Day. It's a day that we look forward to for many weeks ago, and we're happy to celebrate it. And yay to our ancestors. So I'm Dee Burrows, currently in the UK. I'm a life coach and mental health practitioner. But before that, I'm also a product of Augustown, for which I'm extremely proud of. I now run a successful life coaching and mental health practice. Most of my clients are corporate, and I absolutely love what I do in seeing that drastic or that dynamic impact in making their lives better. In addition to that, being a professor in events on hospitality management, on the social aspect of it, I love connecting people. Connecting people is what I do. I always put the dots, the dot to the I and cross all the T's. And while we're here today, I'll just say I went over to Ghana last year, and it just felt like home, felt like Jamaica, being amongst our people. And that's how I connected with Naomi and Neville, because I'm like, where are my people? And it was literally on the same day, on the Sunday when I was leaving Ghana back to London, I connected with Naomi, who's a chairperson for the Marcus Mosiah Garvey Foundation in Ghana, and also Neville, who is also the president of the Ghana Caribbean Association. And it's like we've known each other. I remember before I left to the airport, Naomi said to me, Dee, how long have I known you? And it felt like 15 years. And that's what we want. The collaborativeness, the connection, working together for the greater good. So we have the same mission, the same vision, and the purpose for highlighting Marcus Garvey and his legacy, highlighting the Ghana Caribbean Association and the diaspora in general. So yeah, proud to be here, proud to be Jamaican, proud to be African, and proud to be, can I say Augustonian, if you will? So there you go. But no, I'm just happy to be here to celebrate and to connect, because at the end of the day, it's for the greater good. Thank you. Over to you, Rudy.
Thank you very much. I really love that Augustonian. I'm going to speak with Dean Roden over that and say that you
yeah. That. Just tell him that I've coined that word.
Absolutely. Augusttown is really important to what we're doing at the moment, because it's obviously it's Jamaica 60, and also that's one of our major pilot projects at the moment in Jamaica is working with Augusttown with Dean Roden, Kenneth Wilson, and many others, and it's across the 5 communities that make up Augusttown as well, most importantly, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But what we're really about here today as part of Africa Day is to learn more about the Ghana and the Caribbean region, heritage learning, cultural collaboration, and I'm really pleased now to introduce Naomi from the Marcus Garvey Foundation, but I'd like to read something Naomi sent me, which gives some great clarity for the purpose in terms of the foundation aims to promote a sense of pride and love for and amongst African nations, to provide leadership in helping Africans to explore the skills and the knowledge that are necessary for our advancement in the modern world. Those values are great, Naomi, because we talk about where we are now, the 21st century skills, which are collaboration, creativity, communication, critical thinking. When we think about our young people, we say young people need somewhere to go, young people need something to do, young people need someone to show them how. And when we talk about our communities and our neighborhoods, we talk about the respect and inclusion are the common ground for all of us, regardless of our background and status. And it's important for us to inspire and to promote inclusive, peaceful, caring, and enterprising local communities and neighborhoods for the well-being of all of us. So great to see you and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, what an introduction. Okay, my name is Naomi. Originally, I was born in Trelawney, so I'm a Trelawnian, Jamaica.
Everyone coining words now. Thanks to me.
Oh, so I've basically done the triangular journey backwards. So I'm actually in Ghana, West Africa right now. Been here for a number of years. And my background, basically, I started in UK as a trainer, but that's my qualifications and my career as a trainer. Now I'm retired happily, but I don't think people want me to retire. So it's as though I'm more busy than when I was working. Except this type of work I don't get paid for, but it's absolutely wonderful. Yes. So having said that, we came to Ghana and we realized we are Garveyites. You know, this is one of the reasons why we are here in Ghana, because Garvey said that, look, you need to look to Africa for your growth, for your development, because it's not going to happen in Europe and it's not going to happen in the Americans. So look to Africa. And we focused on that from teenager. And then, you know, eventually decide that this is time for us to go. And we are now here. One of the things that we found when we came here was that very few people, particularly young people, knew anything about Marcus Garvey. That was really quite surprising. Even you talk to the elders and talk to the educated, and you ask them, the black star in the flag of Ghana, do you know where the inspiration come from?
Yeah.
And they don't know. They don't know. So we thought, wow, this is absolutely amazing. We cannot, go without ensuring that we make as many people know in Ghana, in Africa, who Marcus Garvey is. Because Kwame Nkrumah stated clearly that he was influenced by Marcus Garvey, and we are here talking about technology, we're here talking about advancement, we're talking about 21st century. Marcus Garvey foresaw that a long time ago. And he said that is the only way we will make advancement, if we take control of our lives and basically ensuring that our people capture or master technology and are educated. Yes. So that is basically the premise of where we started. with looking at the Marcus Garvey Foundation. So it's the MMG Foundation, it's Marcus Mosiah Garvey Foundation. Now, we basically want to construct a Marcus Garvey Memorial Center here in Ghana to be a hub, a training academic hub in West Africa for Marcus Garvey. You know, so we can basically have a big, you know, statue of Marcus Garvey outside that the young child will come and look at it and says, oh, Mom, who is that? Or Dad, who is that? So Marcus Garvey will never be forgotten. So we realize that at this stage, we are the last generation who basically see Marcus Garvey as the inspirator. Because the generation after us and the generation, you know, my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will not be focusing on Marcus Garvey. So we have to leave something behind to make sure that Marcus Garvey is never forgotten, because he's the one that made us, that inspired us to be here in Africa, inspired a lot of our people who are currently, I mean, people are coming in droves right now. And it's not because of the crisis of the pandemic or whatever, but at the end of the day, we are destined to come home, and we have to come home. Yes, one way or the other, we have to come home. And Marcus Garvey was the one who basically started the Back to Africa. We need to, diasporans need to look to Africa for our redemption, for our development, okay? So the Marcus Garvey Center that we are planning is a mammoth project. It's not a small project, it's a mammoth project. And it's a project that is will encompass an institution. It will have a guest house for short and medium term stays. It will have complex for training. It will have complex for restaurants and businesses, etc. So basically you have everything under one umbrella. And all of those will also use as occupational training. So a restaurant will have youths to basically give training in hospitality, in customer service. The same applies to hotels. We'll have an arena that we will look at doing all the major exhibition, major sporting contests, etc., that will be done in the arena. That we're talking about a 12,000 seat, 12,000 seat arena. Okay, so it's a massive project, you know. But Marcus Garvey also said, if you're thinking, you need to think big. Yes, so we are thinking big, and we need a lot of help for thinking big. Yes, because we're starting from ground level. We are starting from ground level. So therefore, we need support. And it will happen if our people basically make it happen. Yeah. It will happen, okay? So the things we are actually doing right now, we are putting some training programs together for our young people. Yes, and the training that we're looking at right now is electrician, solar installation and maintenance, and also indigenous arts and crafts. So we're looking at putting those programs together right now, and we want to be starting, say, within the next couple of months. We've got the tutors in place. The Ghana University in Lagos has basically, we've got 2 tutors, 2 professors there who are very keen to basically bring the solar installation and maintenance forward for us. Yes, we are looking for people who are companies who can donate materials to the training, because the ethos of the training is to ensure that, you know, students, when they complete their training, they're equipped to go out and start either going to further education or start their own business. So after their training, they'll be equipped with a tool set of the training that the occupation that they've chosen. So for a solar panelist, they will be equipped with all the tools
Excellent.
that they'll need to go out and do their work. So those are, because basically no point in training and they go home and sit down. They need to be able to follow through.
Yeah.
And if they can only follow through if they've got the tools to follow through. So we're giving them the training tools, and we're giving them the physical tools for them to follow through. Yes.
Excellent.
So that is basically, so we're doing those training right now. The program is together. We are, the tutors are ready. They formulated the actual program and the curriculum. So that is ready. What we're looking for now is funding. Yes. So we're also sort of looking at ensuring that each student will get a bursary, a weekly bursary, so that they encourage them to basically come. But then it won't be a case of giving them and they don't turn up. There will also be monitoring and all of that to make sure that they succeed and benefit from what we have, what we're offering. Okay. So that is where we're at the moment. We also have an annual program on the 17th of August that we have in Ghana. Last year, we had a presentation from Dr. Julius Garvey, who sent us, because that was last year was a virtual event. So Dr. Julius Garvey sent us a recording which we played at our event last year. So that, and we had, it was so good because the virtual element of it incorporated South Africa, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, UK, Ghana. So we had performance from various artists from those areas. So it was really, really excellent. So the Marcus Garvey name is going far and which is what we really want. We also have a campaign. We launched a campaign last year for the Friends of Garvey. So if you go to our website, www.mmgf.org, you will see the Friends of Garvey application where you register to be a friend of Garvey. Yes. So we want basically people to get involved and make sure that Garvey's name is still going. Yes, he cannot be forgotten at all, right? We've got Du Bois still, everybody talks about Du Bois when they talk about Pan-Africanism, and they don't remember that, Marcus Garvey was there fighting all the way, and fighting others. I won't mention the names.
As it is a day of celebration. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I forgot to say, wish everyone a very happy African Day today. Yes. Okay. So that is basically the crux of what we are doing right here in Ghana right now. And we met Dee, and Dee has introduced us to Rudy. And we are going, we're flying. So I'm looking forward to the collaboration. And now I've met Dr. So we are going. Okay.
Excellent.
Yes.
Neville.
Okay. Greetings to everyone. I also like to wish all our African brothers and sisters a happy, peaceful African Day. Back in my youthful days, we used to call it the African Liberation Day. We all used to look forward to gathering in Tottenham or in Birmingham, walk on the streets shouting, when do we want freedom? When do we want it now? Outside the Tottenham police station.
Yes,
so, yes, it brings back great memories for me anyway. It's fantastic. So yes, it's great that we still celebrate May the 25th. Here in Ghana, I have to say we're struggling to keep it in the limelight, because today used to be a public holiday in Ghana,
Yeah.
25th of May. Unfortunately, it's no longer a public holiday. So it's as if it's sliding down the scale of importance to some people, which is unfortunate because this is Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana, and you know this should not be happening.
And as you say that, Neville, I read something earlier on today. Apparently, only 12 out of the 54 countries actually have today as a public holiday to spend.
Yeah, you see, I mean, isn't that slightly disappointing?
Yeah.
But
we celebrate today anyway. We celebrate today anyway.
That's right.
We celebrate that today,
Yeah.
regardless. The Ghana Caribbean Association.
Yeah.
The Ghana Caribbean Association was established in 1964, many years ago. It was established mainly by Caribbean people who came to Ghana at the invitation of our first president, the great Dr. Kwame Nkrumah himself. He encouraged a lot of Caribbean people to come to Ghana to help in the development of the then newly independent country. And many people from the Caribbean answered the call. For example, Padmore came. Padmore was in the Bureau of African Affairs. He was an advisor to Nkrumah. Other people from Jamaica, from Guyana, I think Sir Hall came, and others came from, from all over the
S.J. Williams,
Yes, they all came. I can just imagine that period in Ghana, how exciting that must have been, Oh, everybody was coming to Ghana, even Malcolm X, Michelangelo, everybody, because Ghana was like the place to be,
It really was, because you're talking about, the influence of C.L.R. James, John Henrik Clark. He was in Ghana as well.
He's actually
John Henrik Clark, was in Ghana. He met Nkrumah, in Ghana.
Yes. So that period is really, when you look back on it, it's really fantastic. And it was during this period that the Ghana Caribbean Association was formed. Apart from those people who were invited by Kwame Nkrumah to work in developing the various institutions, there were also husband and wives, people who met as students in the UK or in America. And when they graduated, they got married and decided to come back to Ghana. So there was quite a large population of, husband and wives from the Caribbean who also helped to develop the Ghana Caribbean Association. Now, I think at the time, the association possibly, provided opportunities for young people then who perhaps wouldn't have got those opportunities in America or in Britain. So they were invited and they saw the opportunities in Ghana, and they came here to look for, to develop the new skills that they've learned. And in a lot of sense, I think the clock has gone full circle, because what we're having now, a lot of young people are now coming to Ghana, also looking for opportunities to see what they can do in Ghana. I mean, they're not coming in to get big government jobs. They no longer exist for us. But they're coming to entrepreneurs. They're coming to see what businesses that they can establish and how they can fit themselves within the society. So, which is very positive for me, because I think about 5 or 10 years ago, we were getting quite concerned because the people that were coming to Ghana were people from my age group, the older people, and they were all older, retired people. And we were thinking, where are the young people, because if there are no young people, who's going to carry on the work that you're currently doing? So you're thinking, well, if there's no young people to carry it on, then when I'm gone, then the whole thing will just collapse. So I'm personally very, very happy that to see so many young people coming in is, it's really fantastic. So because of the new influx of people, we, of course, the association will have to evolve to accommodate the new influx of people. Because as I say, these are not people who are married. to Ghanaians mostly. These are not people who are employed by governments. You know, it's like people have come and they're on their own.
Yeah.
They don't have any support systems, you know, around, so they're on their own. So really the association needs to evolve itself so that it can provide support to these people who need advice as to how to go about dealing with immigration, setting up business, what do you call it, accommodation, etc., etc. So they need advice. So this is how this is what the GCA is currently doing, offering those kind of service to our members.
And just to say this before you go on, Neville, I think it's commendable in terms of what you're saying about the integration of young people into the association, for it to evolve, that's relevant for their time now.
Yes, yes.
Which historically has not been the case of us in the Caribbean or in the UK, even in terms, I'm talking about Caribbean communities. So it's interesting that you've taken that mindset of passing the baton over to Ghana, you know, given the generational shift that we've had, you know, from the UK, because many of our key organizations don't exist the way they ought to in the UK, because there wasn't that enlightened thinking 20 years ago. You know? And the fact that you're saying it today is important. And why I'm emphasizing it, because there's an old saying that says that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Okay.
I like that.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. So as I say, the GCA, we're trying to help our people, while of course not forgetting our seniors. The history of Caribbean people in Ghana is really quite lengthy and it's quite extensive. I think last week before last, the Foreign Secretary of Jamaica came to Ghana. She visited Akropong, and some very interesting history was unfolded, evolved up there. And fortunately for us today, we have Patrick Selican, who is actually the secretary of the Ghana Caribbean Association, GCA for short. Rudy, just in case, you know, you can't remember all the
I was just going to say GCA in future.
GCA for short. Yeah, so we have our secretary who's with us, who is a direct descendant from, I think it was 24 Jamaicans who came to Ghana way back in 1843 as part of the Basel Missionary. He's a direct descendant of those ancestors who came. So I think at this point, I'd like to hand over to him to hear a few words from our secretary, the GCA secretary, Patrick Selican. Go on, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Neville, and thank you for Rudy. Thank you, Rudy, for having us. Happy African Union Day, everybody.
Thank you.
Viewers watching us from wherever in the world. So yes, I am a sixth generation descendant of Joseph Miller, a Jamaican who came with other Jamaican missionaries recruited by the Basel Mission with one man from Antigua to augment the efforts of Basel missionary activities to convert Christians into Basel mission principles in Akropong. So on April 17, 1843, a ship named the Joseph Anderson docked at Christiansborg. Now, Christiansborg was the seat of government of the Danish colonial masters at the time. That was in the 19th century, before they sold over to the Committee of Merchants, who eventually became the leaders of the Gold Coast. So that became the British Gold Coast. So this ship, this vessel called the Joseph Anderson, docked at this Christiansborg place in 1843 with these Jamaicans the Antiguan, and a Liberian who had been recruited by the Basel missionaries to support their work on the Gold Coast. The antecedents is a bit checkered, but I would attempt to trace it and give a very brief sketch of that. So before the arrival of the Jamaicans, the missionaries, the Basel missionaries, European missionaries, had 4 attempts at establishing the Basel mission on the Gold Coast. The first attempt was somewhere in 1828 on the invitation of the Danish governor on the Danish Gold Coast at the time. And after that, there were subsequent efforts. Now, these European missionaries couldn't withstand climatic conditions, and they succumbed to diseases or infections that were localized in Ekropong. So the understanding is that there was a suggestion by the chief, the king of Ekwapim at the time, that is Nana Addo Dankwa the first, to the leader of the missionary enterprise, that's Andrea Rees, to more or less, I mean, that could be considered as a farewell message and a suggestion to him that the gods of the land and the ancestors of the people had prescribed African religion for the people of Ekropong, the Kwapim people, and that they were unsuccessful. The Europeans were unsuccessful because the ancestors and the gods of the land were not in favor of they making local converts into their religion. And so if the Europeans, that's Andreas Rees and his team and the Basel mission as a whole, could demonstrate to the local people that the gods and the ancestors of the local people, I mean, if Andreas Rees and his team could demonstrate to the gods, the people, the chief, and the ancestors that there were Black people who subscribed to this religion and could read the book, Bible, that was to be introduced to them, they would somehow be satisfied and would welcome them with open hands of a sort. So this was more like a challenge thrown to Andreas Rees. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, to them.
Oh dear.
They were already a group of people waiting as examples of Black people. The paradox is actually that some of these slaves actually came from these Jamaicans had ancestors that were taken as slaves from the Ekropon Ekwapim area. And so the report was sent back to Basel, and well, after some convincing, they decided to go see the Moravian mission in Jamaica, in the Caribbean at the time. The first trip was to Antigua. In Antigua, they were successful in getting just one person recruited. That wasn't so impressive. So they decided to go to the next place, Jamaica. And as I mentioned earlier, there were people waiting to volunteer. Actually, a message was sent out and so many people volunteered to come down in this missionary enterprise. But after some rigorous screening and background checks, only 23 people from Jamaica made it on the list, with the man from Antigua. So my ancestor was Joseph Miller, who came from the Fairfield congregation of the Moravian Church. He had actually become a member of the Moravian Church in 1832. And interestingly, I have here a photo of his, which I could show you.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
this photo was taken in the 1850s.
Yeah.
And that is Joseph Miller.
And that's a spitting image of you, Patrick. My goodness.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's
If I could show
incredible.
you so closely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're a dead stamp.
I'm telling you, you can't
Cannot
deny
be
that. You
denied. No
can't deny
denial.
it.
So that's Joseph Miller, 6 generations from me.
Mm,
Wow.
I'll quickly go on to the work on the Gold Coast.
mm,
So they lived in Ekropon-Ekwapim, and they began making successful converts, actually. And this gives us some insight away from the Eurocentric history of missionary work in the Gold Coast. It was until the arrival of these Jamaicans and the gentleman from Antigua, Jonas Horsford, from Grace Hill, that the first successful converts and baptism occurred in the Ekropon-Ekwapim area. And within a few years, the congregation of the Basel Mission Church grew to over 30, including children and royals who had given out their children to be members because they had been convinced and felt comfortable that they had seen returnee Africans following a kind of faith, and had come along with a certain kind of lifestyle that they appeared to admire. And so they began their work in the Gold Coast. They made a few converts. They set up a school, taught children in various crafts, taught Bible, grammar, geography, various subjects. And that went on. So the rest of the story is success flowing from the arrival of the Jamaican, the West Indian missionaries on the Gold Coast, all the way down to when the Church of Scotland got involved after the Basel Mission had to hand over to the Church of Scotland because they were kicked out by the British government after the First World War, and the subsequent establishment of an independent Presbyterian church. Now, the first moderator and the first synod clerks of the Presbyterian church were children of these Jamaicans. That's the Reverend Peter Hall and the Reverend Nicholas Timothy Clark.
okay.
And that goes all the way down. Descendants, second, third generation of all these Jamaicans are noted pioneers
Mhm.
female education, crafts. I mean, they were the earliest examples of educated Black people
Mm.
on the British Gold Coast. And the cultural legacy is seen in the arrangement of the houses in the town of Ekropon and how the descendants still live there today.
Okay.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That should be a heritage site in itself.
I'm
That's
telling you,
right. I
I'm
was
telling
thinking,
you.
just thinking
history.
that.
Yeah,
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that.
you know.
Yeah, no,
And
great story.
the contributions of those early Caribbean people who
Mm.
came wasn't only spiritual or religious, if you want to put it that way. It was practical in the sense that, Jamaicans, we always travel, we always bring things with us.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
if we don't, if it's not our music, then we bring our food or we bring something. And the missionaries who came, they brought more or less a lot
The
of
whole of Jamaica.
the whole of Jamaica with them.
Yeah.
You know, they brought cocoa, they
Yeah.
brought breadfruit, they brought
Yeah.
cane, they brought everything. I mean, I'm sure Patrick would tell you the story that the famous cocoa, Ghana is famous for cocoa, right?
That's right.
That makes chocolate.
Mm.
Apparently, it was these missionaries who first brought cocoa to Ghana and
Really?
introduced it to Tetekwashi. From what I think Patrick was explaining to me, that there's a story that Tetekwashi was actually a slave. He was captured as a slave and was going to be sold, but the Jamaicans rescued him and employed him as part of the missionary. And through there he became a blacksmith, and he was responsible for farming and so on and so forth. And that's where he first saw cocoa. So when he went to Equatorial Guinea, he saw a different brand of cocoa, which was, I think it was stronger and a stronger brand than what we saw in Jamaica. But that came from Jamaica. But at least he recognized it. He recognized it, and then he brought it back to Ghana. And the rest is history. Cocoa is now the largest export of Ghana. I mean, you go to Abri Gardens, you see how Abri Gardens is planted. It's all through these missionaries who came and brought all these breadfruit trees and and planted. You could say, I would say, well, they were responsible for the construction of Abri Gardens. Really, I mean, they're the ones who brought all the plants. So the influence within the society is really quite deep. And the GCA, we're currently embarked on a project, a history project, where we're trying to highlight and chronicle all these things, that these contributions that we've made to Ghanaian society. Because people see us coming here and they think, oh, we've just come, just another bunch of foreigners who've just come to Ghana. But we've been here for decades, centuries.
And normally,
it's important for us to move that forward.
Yeah, and normally people who are uninformed do think that way as well. But there's an irony which Patrick touched on, because because if you think of breadfruit in particular and Captain Bligh, and that was all about breadfruit coming from West Africa to the Caribbean. Which is really interesting.
But I think it also highlights, we've got a huge Jamaican community in Ghana, believe it or not, a huge, So it highlights that, and anywhere you go in the world, even in the most remote place, there's a Jamaican there. So it highlights to me that Jamaican has always got, they want to explore, want to move on. And also it highlights that, if they were taken from here, but they wanted to come home. Because at the end of the day, when the opportunity came for them to come home, they all wanted to come home. You understand? So they chose 23, but I'm sure if they had opened it to everybody, they would have a majority. They would have had a majority. But one of the things we also have to remember is that we are here because our ancestors did not make it. You understand? They have guided us to be here because we have left family, we've left everything and come. We are on our own. Yes, but there must be a reason for that. There's got to be a reason for that. So I am convinced my ancestors have basically directed me to come home. And we are here.
Back through the door of no return.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Which is really
one of the interesting things that was the selection process. The selection process that the missionaries went through in terms of selecting the Jamaicans who they wanted to bring to Ghana. Because there was a lot of people applied. And one of the interesting criteria that they checked, they looked at was whether that individual who said they want to come to Africa, whether they would want to come back to Jamaica. Because they were checking whether the person had any land in Jamaica, they had anything there so that they would come back.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, well, that sounds very familiar, isn't it? I mean, when you go to the embassies, to get visas to various countries, that's one of the first things they do. They check to see if you have you own a house or you have any
you're going to go back.
So that you're going to come
What
back.
ties you have? What ties you have that will make you return to Jamaica?
Exactly.
The pattern is amazing. So go on, Patrick.
But sorry, go ahead, Patrick, then I'll piggyback on something there.
Yeah. So to add to what Neville just mentioned, so what I mean, that kind of assessment and requirement to prove what kind of ties you have. Much beyond that, on top of proving the kind of ties you have, proving actually that you know what you were not just coming to Africa for the excitement of coming to Africa, or you were not just coming,
To get
you
out of
know, with
Jamaica.
the aim to run away from your problems, but your willingness, right, to leave some kind of property behind, you know, to join this missionary enterprise
Mhm.
was more or less taken to be a proof, you
Yes.
know, of
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
commitment to
Yeah.
missionary
Yes. Yeah.
enterprise specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Mhm.
And there was something I forgot to mention. Another cultural legacy is that they gave the people of Ekropon and wider Ghanaians a staple. That's cocoyam.
We're in Coco.
Yeah.
One cocoa full basket.
Exactly. 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 It's amazing,
That's
isn't it?
true.
Yes.
It continues
It
through the
is how it's
generation.
linked.
It continues.
That cocoa is where we get out the contumely, right? The cocoa leaf.
Yeah.
The cocoa
Yeah.
leaf is what they take to in Ghana. That's what they use to make contumely. In Jamaica, we have kalalu,
Yeah.
but over here,
And spinach.
and they eat the cocoa leaf, contumely. They cook it more or less the same way as we cook kalalu
Spinach.
in
And it
Jamaica.
is so delicious.
So
So when we go to Jamaica, we must tell the people them to start eat
Eat
cocoa
cocoa
leaf.
leaf.
That's for sure. I will tell them.
so Dee, you wanted to say something, then I'll come back to you, Patrick, then we'll go to Laura.
I did, but Patrick preempted. I was about to
Okay.
say those that they took over the Murray, you know, to on the missionary work, if you will, they were creme de la creme. And as a result of them going over, that's how we have the rich history now, the rich culture of the link. Now, I mean, thank you, Patrick. That actually put the link together, because I was always figuring out, I knew it was there on Google if I search hard enough, but just talking to you, it actually just connect the dots. And I'm like, wow. So that's what I was going to say. They actually took the creme de la creme from Jamaica to Ghana. And as a result of that, we are here to celebrate them. We are here to outlive their legacy, if you will, that they never got the chance to, which reminds me of, and one thing I'm going to say, there's no better time to be 1, a proud Jamaican, 2, a proud Garveyite, and 3, a proud African. And there's no better time than for us to celebrate that, because we don't do it enough. And the legacy of our ancestors, the legacy of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I mean, as you say, I went to the Du Bois Center and they were all about Du Bois. Yeah, fair enough. It's in Ghana and there's a museum. But I'm like, Marcus Garvey was so monumental. Look at the Black Star Liner. Look at their flag. And they only mention about Garvey, Marcus Garvey at one point. And I'm like, really? And also, they don't teach this in the schools. I want to see the school system in Jamaica actually place an emphasis on Marcus Garvey, our first national hero. I mean, I've seen the others get more kudos than Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He was our Malcolm X. He took Jamaica on the map. So before our music, before our culture, it was Marcus Garvey. I never learned.
Of course, but you know, there's a reality of a historical context, which we're not going to go into on this particular occasion. but
just to mention it.
So we know that, and that's why it's still about progression.
Yes.
And we wouldn't be speaking about it now if there wasn't a legacy 135 years later after Marcus Garvey's. And it will continue. Will always continue. Each generation will embrace. Right, Patrick. There's one last thing before I come to Laura to give us her perspective. Where was Queen Nanny of the Maroons born? Now, because you're starting to appear to be like a griot to me, and one of the first things I did when I went to Jamaica 30 years ago, I went to a Kompong town, and sat and listened to the colonel of the time, giving the oral history going right back to when the Spanish were in Jamaica before the British arrived in 1655. So tell us a bit about that story that we've been told.
Right. So yeah, so I would definitely have to quote the royals of Equiapim, who made this. I mean, they tried to summarize the story as made it as brief as they could. That Queen Nani was originally called Sechi Abia, born in Equiapim and captured as a slave and sent to Jamaica. This is the narrative. This is the part of the history that the royals of Equiapim. I'm not speaking on their behalf though, but
Yeah.
I am just making it referring to a statement they have made, and this
Treading carefully, yeah.
exactly, and and it reflects it reflects the knowledge of the Equiapim people on this subject. That yes, Queen Nani was Sechiabia, born in Equiapim, was a royal here before captured as a slave and sent to a Ekropon. Royals were not sold into slavery generally unless in punishment for something, but that was quite rare. Incidents of royals sold into slavery were quite rare. So it was a forced capture of Sechiabia across the Atlantic to Jamaica. And she had come to Jamaica apparently with the royal blood, the fighting spirit, leadership. So she continued then put together her army, her organizational skills, traditional military, African military tactics and knowledge and upbringing that she had received. Apparently, as a royal child, she would have observed those trainings and such discussions among senior Equiapim military leaders in the King's Court. So she likely transferred that to all the roles she played in Jamaica.
Yes, thank you for that. And I just add that she was based in the Leeward Island, the Leeward side of Jamaica, where St. Mary just happens to be. I'm just mentioning it.
And Rudy happens to be from St. Mary.
Yes.
Do you mean she wasn't from Trelawney? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying. That's all. Crawford Town, Scots Hall, just saying. Leeward side of Jamaica. That's where St. Mary is. That's all I'm saying.
This is another conversation, Rudy.
Yes, another conversation.
Because I claimed her a long time ago.
and you know the interesting thing about this is supposing that place, a compound in Jamaica has about the same topography relief as Equiapim. So if Queen Nani had been blindfolded, right, and sent to Jamaica, probably had been sent through a time machine and had been shown the place again, she would have thought she was still
in
some part.
Yes, that's right.
That is very true.
That is so true. Yes. The mountains, Aquapem in Ghana is in the mountains. And Akropong in Jamaica is in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's not on the flat where St. Mary is, it's in the mountains.
St. Mary definitely is not flat.
Is that in the mountains of Trelawney?
and because of the mountain, because of the situation in Akropong in the mountains, that was why he was able to strategically plan and defeated the British. Yes, because there was one way in and one way out in the mountains, and they knew that. Yes, so that was how she was able to strategically plan with her brothers and how to defeat the British. But most definitely, I agree with Patrick on that. The actual demographics of Achiampong in Jamaica and Aquapem in Ghana is so similar.
Mm.
We were there last week, and driving up there, we could say, oh, I'm in St. Anne's,
Yeah.
I'm in Clarendon,
Yeah.
I'm in Trelawney. It was just a fantastic feel. And then one of the ancestors from the slaves that came back, or the enslaved that came back, he just held on to my hand. He wouldn't let me go. And I think I looked at him and I thought, you look so much like my relations in Jamaica. Yeah. And I swear, if I do the research, I will find some link there. It was just incredible. As soon as he saw me, he just held on to my hand, and he wouldn't let my hand go until the whole thing was finished. Yeah. It was amazing. It was just an amazing experience.
So Patrick, was there something you wanted to say? Did you have your hand up? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Laura, as we're running down to the end of the show. So Laura, you can have your perspective coming from Clarendon, of course. I am.
Well, I'm trying to be so politically correct. So, it's challenging because there's a little river fall that falls down from a little mountain in Ocherius, and that's where my mom is from, but my dad is from Clarendon as well. And so I want to say that Nanny, the spirit of Nanny is in that warrior mindset is in all of us in a way, because we are here forging for what I think is the future. Patrick, would you hold up that picture one more time again, please? And I'll tell you what I saw. Let's see. Okay, say something, Patrick. Just say anything. Can you hear me?
Yes, I heard you. Right. I think I would have said what Joseph Miller would have said, and how he would have sounded.
The reason why I asked you to say something is when you say something, you come to the front, and we get to see the picture.
Okay.
So the first time that I saw the picture, I thought immediately a stamp, like a postage stamp.
Yes.
And we all alluded to warriors and people that are significant in society. And I was like, I don't remember seeing a Joseph Miller stamp, right? And so where am I coming from? The story, there's a story, a very significant story around Joseph Miller that can be captured in what we're dealing with, which is called NFTs. And that's part of the world that I'm in. Being able to, I listened to Nicole, right?
Naomi,
why am I saying Nicole?
Naomi.
I listened to Naomi, and she talked about, this being a retirement situation and not being paid and that sort of thing. And I was just wondering, I says, there's such a rich heritage, there's a rich story with Joseph Miller and with Marcus Garvey, and being able to carry the pictures, because the picture is one thing, it's the story that gets to be carried into the next sphere, into the next generation. And we do that in technology today through the Web3 environment, the Web3 HTTPS is eventually moving away, and we're going more into metaverse mindsets. And so with metaverse, there is this and the NFT. And so these pictures, they have a story. And so I was saying, it'd be a wonderful challenge between now and say next year, we have those NFTs that are non-fungible tokens. That's what they stand for. It's a token. To replace maybe us. We were the tokens before, taken from one culture and brought over to another culture. But now let's bring this story back. I have to appreciate people that have gone back to stand in the gap until we get the technology together and be able to now bring the story to where they are, so that everybody in the world can have access to it. and get the education that Dee was talking about that needs to be into the schools. And so that's part of the commitment that I have. I can tell you my background is in database management, and I love the idea of creating a knowledge base where we just pull all the knowledge together. Everything today with the young people is about pictures. So if you're going to have a story, that has to be a picture. And if they see the picture, then they could categorize that particular story. I need to see Joseph Miller more.
Mhm.
I'm convinced. I need to be able to see the work of the foundation for Marcus Garvey. In fact, no. That's your journey to go back is also part of the story.
That's right.
So hopefully you have been journaling, Naomi, of what the passage back was like.
He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of the story.
Yes. Yes.
And that gets to be captured and placed into metaverse environments and encapsulated with NFTs, and that's part, and kept in knowledge bases and libraries and that sort of thing. And my desire is not to build a smoke screen, because that's not what this is. There's a reality. Something can get missing if we're not careful. We have to be intentional about the story and the legacy and the richness of heritage, or else it can be lost forever. So that's the only thing that I want to say as a contribution. I'm so honored to be here. Happy Africa Day to everyone. And Ghana is next on my list to visit.
Oh, you'll be more than welcome.
Thank
I hope there will be electricity when you come.
No, that's not it. Electricity is not an issue. When I went to Nigeria, there was not electricity.
That's a big issue. It's a big issue for me. So let that be.
It was a big issue for me too. When I first came here, it was just a nightmare. And what used to happen? The electric used to go out around about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yes.
Wow.
And then I'm thinking, you go to the light switch, and you switch, and nothing happened, nothing comes on. And then your mood changed. I realized my moods were changing when I couldn't get electricity in the evening time. So that's why we reverted to solar. So at least we can get some electricity when that's why we are still here, because there's no electricity right now, but we are running on solar.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
when I went to Nigeria, it would go off because the government needed it probably more than the citizens, and so
as always.
And so there was you would hear the generators, and the people that knew, it was just a part of the culture. It's just we'll just turn on the they just knew when it was going to come on. I said, wow.
Right. And on that great note, everyone, back to the electricity of Africa Day. And it's been a wonderful dialogue for Africa Day, and great connections between Ghana and the Caribbean and the different communities and cultures. And I wish you all well until we meet again. Can I just make
one point, Rudy? One point, please. Can everyone go onto our website, www.themmgf.org, and please register to become a friend of Garvey. We need you. Yes.
Okay. And we'll
Same way our Garvey introduced everybody to the UNIA, we want you to come and be a friend of Garvey on the Marcus Garvey.
Okay. And we'll share the link across our networks as well. So we'll speak again on that.
Okay.
So,
lovely.
Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Bye. Thanks. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Patrick.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.